Welcome to Sliders and Wings, a podcast about the TV show Sliders
and the TV show Wings
and all the other forgotten TV shows of the 90s.
I'm Valerie Temple.
And I'm Rachel Cox.
Hey, Rachel, what's up?
As I said, I went out to eat at a real restaurant and I'm uncomfortably full, but I will power through.
I have confidence in you.
We walked around for an hour afterwards and it did not help. Like I still feel
oh God.
gross.
I mean, it sounded like you really wanted to savor this restaurant experience. You're like, I will eat it all.
We got a babysitter that came from not around the corner, so I wanted to make it worth her while. So we stayed out for 3 hours.
There you go.
She makes some money.
Live the life, Rachel. This is what getting back into the swing of it is like for us. Like living by going out to eat at a restaurant and getting a babysitter.
Every single person in Philadelphia was on the street of passion tonight, let me tell you.
Oh boy.
We're like, who are all these people? I don't remember all these people living here before.
When it's nice weather in Philadelphia, just like everyone's outside. It's just like you really feel how many people are live in Philadelphia when it's warm out. And you're also like, oh, everyone's so I wish everyone was still wearing winter jackets. And I don't want to see these bodies. I have some housekeeping.
Okay.
I looked up who the cartoonist was for Caroline in the City. Her name is Bonnie Timmons. She is an illustrator and she's illustrated for like a ton of books, but the one that I think you would know the most is she was the illustrator for Eat, Shoots, and Leaves.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a grammar thing, you know. You see it at Barnes and Nobles all the time. And she lives on a farm outside of Philadelphia, Rachel. So you could go visit her.
Oh, wow. I bet she's got a cute little house.
Yeah, her website is adorable. There's a tab called Pets, and it's not drawings of pets, it's just her pets. Just photos. And her bio is just like, I love horses. Here are my horses.
Well, we are now living in a world where roughly twice as many people are now insane dog parents as there used to be.
Yep. And those dogs have been like spoiled. They're all ruined. You all have like separation anxiety now just for someone like leaving the room for 2 seconds because, you know, everyone's been working remotely and from home these dogs have been living their best lives.
In the olden days, the dog owners had the upper hand, right? And they're like, yes, you can pet the dog. And now it's like, pick your dog. And they go, oh, sure. She's 9 months old. Her name is Darlene. I got her from this place. She really likes peanut butter. Whoa. Like, no, I did not want to commit to this.
People have really fallen out of the habit of interacting with strangers. It's true. Like people's like social skills have really fallen off.
God, I'm regretting petting this dog.
You're like, I thought it was a commitment of just a pet and not like this whole like saga. I didn't want to hear the dog's life story.
I didn't realize I had the upper hand. So we are talking about a very interesting show called Evening Shade.
That's right. In a town called Evening Shade.
The American sitcom television series that aired on CBS from 1990 to 94. And the series stars Burt Reynolds as Wood Newton, an ex-professional football player for the Pittsburgh Steelers who returns to rural Evening Shade, Arkansas to coach a high school football team with a long losing streak. Reynolds personally requested to use the Steelers as his character's former team because he was a fan. The general theme of the show is the appeal of small town life. Episodes often end with a closing narration by Ossie Davis as his character Ponder Blue.
Which I have a lot to say about that character name.
He always sums up the events of the episode, always closing with, in a place called Evening Shade.
Yeah. This show is so folksy. I mean, it is the folksiest.
It's very much like the Torkelsons.
I was just gonna say, it's like it is like the adult version of the Torkelsons. You know, it's like this small town life. So like the Torkelsons is clearly for like teens, kids. This is
not for teens.
This is not for teens. This is
for Burt Reynolds fans and Burt Reynolds fans alone.
Correct. And it for adults, it is slow paced. It
is so slow and weird. Okay, so wait, what's your history with the show?
It's a reference point for me. Like, I like to make Evening Shade jokes. it's a good pull for me as like a funny punchline, but I did not watch it at all.
So what are your jokes?
Nothing really, just sort of like making people remember Evening Shade.
Okay, so like kind of non sequitur.
Pretty much just like remember Evening Shade. People are like, oh yeah, I do. Now I do. Thanks. Oh, now I have to think about Evening Shade. Why?
Walk up to people in Target and say, remember the finale of Lost? And then just walk away. I watched this probably with my parents. I don't know if it was regularly or not, but I definitely watched this. I definitely thought it was funny. My whole reference for Burt Reynolds was this show. Like I didn't know Burt Reynolds before this show. Like I don't think I didn't watch Smokey and the Bandit for me, he was just Evening Shade, the guy from Evening Shade.
I mean, I think I was aware of him more as an actor, like Deliverance and Smoking the Bandit.
You're saying when you were 10, you knew of Deliverance?
Not Deliverance, but I think definitely Cannonball Run.
Okay, I never saw Cannonball Run. Would you say his whole thing is being the straight man?
Yes.
Okay, like his whole thing is just like being a stoic.
He's
kind of like being annoyed and then kind of like erupting.
Yeah, and he's very dry, you know.
Dry, yeah.
He's got this really dry sense of humor. Yeah, and he's funny, and also, I guess, a sex symbol.
Well, I read that whole article about him doing Playgirl.
No, it was actually Cosmo.
He regretted it.
Did he? Why? It was
he regretted it because he felt like that came out around the time Deliverance came out, and that it like negatively impacted his perception as an actor.
I mean, that is true, I guess, because Deliverance was probably his like
most serious role.
Yeah, time to be like considered as like I'm a serious actor, and then at the same time he's bare ass naked on a centerfold, like 2 full pages of his hairy body.
And do you know what he referred to his penis as?
A tallywhacker. Which I feel like that, just him using that word to describe his junk.
It's very dignified, I thought.
It's dignified, but it's also like as old-timey as Eating Shade is.
I just remember Eating Shade being a show about like a family. I think I remember thinking that the dad was so much older than the mom.
Yes.
And that is part of the setup, that he's at least 20 years. Like, he's supposed to be maybe 15 or 16 years older than her, but I think he's 20 years older than her. I mean, let's just launch into it. Like the pilot episode is all about him having a failed vasectomy.
Right.
It's so weird.
It's also just like all about his virility. He just has the most powerful sperm on the planet, that like his vasectomy was no match for how active his sperm is. And so it's just basically like, wow, like Burt Reynolds is really trying to tell everybody like how much of a man he is, you know?
There's so many weird details. Like the show, okay, so the whole episode takes place in one day, and the day is his birthday, who's the main character, and also his anniversary.
Correct.
So they're celebrating their anniversary and his birthday, but then they always have a birthday dinner, and then
everything goes wrong, you know.
Basically they have 3 kids, and then they find out this morning. It's so old. I mean, again, so old fashioned. The doctor calls her. Right. The rabbit died. Exactly. And she's running for prosecuting attorney or something, which also doesn't make sense. Like, are you telling me that this one little dinky town has its own prosecuting attorney? She's like, I'm going to be the Evening Shade prosecuting attorney. Like, this town has 1,000 people in it.
Right. Exactly. I don't know, but like she has goals, so that's nice.
It's hard to know where to step into this because there's so much to say, but on the one hand, it is very feminist and forward-leaning in that it is celebrated that she had got a legal degree and is pursuing this career and she can do anything. But then the flip side of that is the show, and I watched the second episode of the show too. It's so focused on their relationship and their romance, and it's so gross.
I know.
It's so, I'm a man and you're a woman and I love you. And there's a lot
to their relationship where you're like, oh, and like when she's wearing like negligees and
you gotta throw a fourth kid into a sitcom. Like,
I know
you don't have enough going on. I mean, the reason why the show got canceled is because the cast was so big. There's like 20 people on this show.
And they're all names, like besides the kids. Okay, there's Burt Reynolds, Hal Holbrook, Mary Lou Henner, Ossie Davis, Charles Durning, and Michael Jeter, who he only shows up in the pilot episode, I think, for a little minute, but he's the kind of weird guy with the bald guy, the assistant coach.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He was in Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit.
Okay.
But he was just like a character actor like that you just see everywhere.
You realize that the name of Mary Lou Henner's dad is Evan Evans?
No.
Yes.
No!
Yes.
That's Hal Holbrook's character's name?
Yes, Evan Evans.
Oh boy. Yeah, so this is like produced by, it's like a partnership between Linda Bloodsworth Thompson, who made Designing Women, and her husband, who I guess is from Arkansas. He's like, okay, I'm going to make a show about Arkansas, which is, it's like wild. Like the IMDb trivia was like, this is the first sitcom ever set in Arkansas. I was like, all right, I guess that's interesting. I don't know. But Hal Holbrook was on Designing Women, and he's like kind of a popular character. And I guess they just like killed him off on Designing Women so he could be on this show.
What state is Designing Women supposed to be in?
In the South, obviously. Dixie Carter, you know.
And there is a special guest appearance in the second episode with Billy Bob Thornton playing a flower delivery man.
That's right. Which, by the way, you were so funny. You like sent me a text. You were like, you got to see this. And I was like, what? You're like, there's someone who shows up. It's a surprise cameo. It's someone who at the beginning of their career, and they're super famous now. And you wouldn't tell me who it was. I was like, okay. And so I watched the whole second episode and I missed it.
Oh.
And so then I had to like go back. I was like, who is it? Who is it?
Well, that was fun for you.
It was fun for me.
Okay, good.
And then I was like, okay, Billy Bob. Because you never see his full face, actually. He's like,
it's kind of more recognizable from his voice.
Yeah, definitely. But he's got, you know, I mean, I think he's actually from Arkansas. So he's very credible.
Yeah.
Slid right in. I just didn't even notice.
One thought I had watching it again, I feel like I was probably confused by this as a kid, and then watching again, I understood why. 4 of the adult women on the show, they're like the same height, they have the same hair, and they're the same age.
Yeah.
Like Hal Holbrook's wife, and then
Frida,
and then Fontana Beausoleil.
Yeah, they all look.
Everyone kind of looks the same.
They all look identical, and they're all really going for it with the accent. So, yeah. Fontana Beausoleil.
Frida is hilarious in the second episode.
She's hilarious, but they let her go on so long that I was going into the Burt Reynolds camp where I was like, I think I am actually annoyed by her.
And then like they're always trying to, I think because the cast is so big, they're constantly making references to the relationships between each other so that we understand who they are.
Yeah.
The woman outside, my sister, your wife's aunt. He's like, I know who she fucking is. Why are you telling me that she's my wife's aunt? Do you know what happened? Did you look up what happens later on in the show?
No. Please tell me.
Evan Evans.
Hal Holbrook.
I forget the wife's name. Mary Lou Henner's character. Her dad,
yeah.
marries Fontana Beausoleil, and they have a baby.
What?
Yes.
So Fontana Beausoleil is a stripper.
Striptease artist, they call her. But at the end of the second episode, they have a date.
Yeah, they go on and like the kids are spying on them, and they see them like romantically dancing together. So
okay, so my take on Burt Reynolds in this show is that he agreed to do a show if he wouldn't have to memorize any lines and didn't have to like move and could basically just sit and read a newspaper for half of every episode, and his lines were in the newspaper. He almost does nothing.
Yeah, he really does nothing.
Show. And they're like, this is a 50-year-old man with 3 kids and a baby on the way.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Lines are in the newspaper because he's literally just reading the newspaper for half the show.
That's really how much action there is on the show. By the way, it's really just them sitting at tables and just having like really casual conversations, and there's just like kicking back, it's a slow paced town, slow paced show. So,
but everyone's lives rotate around their relationship. Like the show starts off that all the kids are with their grandfather to get so that they can be alone for their anniversary. It's like, ew, gross, gross. And then in the second episode, she has to go to the hospital because she's got like nausea or something. And he's just like misses her so much because she's been in the hospital for a week. And then at the end of the show, he crawls into her. He like goes to the hospital, crawls into her hospital bed. And she's like, I love you. Like, ew, ew, ew. Like, I'm not here for this. Like, who is here for this?
I don't know. This show came out during like the peak Burt Reynolds and Lonnie Anderson relationship era. And according to Lonnie Anderson's Wikipedia page, she wanted to play the Mary Lou Henner character. Ava, I guess is her name. But like the producers were against it. They just thought that the press around their relationship was too toxic or something. But also like maybe Lonnie Anderson wouldn't be credible as a prosecuting attorney. I don't know.
What are you saying, Val?
I mean, she played Jane Mansfield in a TV movie. So I don't know. It's hard to deny her sex potness. So
I mean, it does feel like Burt Reynolds had a crush on Mary Lou Henner and was just trying to escape his wife or something. Like it's just,
there was a
vibe is so weird.
There was a kiss, I think at the end of the second episode where they're slow dancing. It looks like he is eating her face. It is the most intense kiss I've seen on a sitcom ever. Yeah. He's mashing her face. It's like the kiss from It's a Wonderful Life where it almost feels violent.
But it also seemed like a stage kiss where you twist your face in such a way so it looks like you're deep tongue kissing.
And then you're like putting your thumbs up.
So simultaneously, the fact that he's the coach of this losing team and he used to be a football player and now he's just a high school football coach, like it's supposed to be jokes on him and people make fun of him and like,
right.
It's supposed to be very humbling. But the flip side of that is that everyone calls him coach and defers to him and he's like famous in this town. And correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't football coach for high school a part-time job or possibly a volunteer position? This is not a job.
Well, the assistant coach is getting
$200.
No, $400 a year to be the assistant coach. So how much does the actual coach get paid? It's a real like step down from the Pittsburgh Steelers, I have to say. But
Burt Reynolds is only funny when he gets mad. And he like sparks things, and then that's funny. Accent corner. Mm-hmm. So everyone is pretty Southern except for Mary Lou and Burt, who are actually from the Midwest. She has she's supposed to be from this town, and she's clearly from Chicago.
Right, definitely.
He's from Michigan. I mean, he doesn't really sound, he sounds kind of gruff, but he doesn't actually have a Southern accent.
He sounds like he's from nowhere. It worked in the context of everything, but I think if everyone else wasn't doing the most in regards to accents, it would sound weird.
And then the backstory is that she said something about when she was a kid, she would stay late and like wait to watch him come home, and like he was a teenager or something, or like he was off playing college football and she would watch him come home and stare at him or something. And then she turned 18 and they like ran off and got married.
Ew, what? I missed that.
Yes, the granddad mentions it a couple times, like, you ruined my life when you ran off with my daughter when she was 18 years old.
Yeah, because Hal Holbrook, Mary Lou Henner's dad, does not like this relationship. Even though they have 3 kids and have clearly been together for a long time, her dad just still is not on board with Burt Reynolds.
I mean, I guess it's part of the backstory, maybe to just explain their age difference, I guess, but it is a little gross, but not illegal, just gross. But did you recognize who the oldest kid was?
Oh, of course I did. Jay Ferguson.
I didn't realize he was a kid actor.
I only knew it just because I think I'd looked him up, his role on Mad Men. He played Stan Rizzo, Peggy Olsen's boyfriend, and then he went on to star in The Real O'Neills, and then now he's on The Conners, right?
Yeah.
What he aged into is what I like. I was like, oh.
You don't like this 15-year-old boy? You're not attracted to this 15-year-old boy?
No, I'm not. Well, he's very cute, but like he really aged into this like kind of like gruff kind of voice and like just this like stout kind of like manly vibe that I really am drawn to. I definitely Stan on Mad Men is like, ooh, that's for me. It's just like this burly, bearded, just like acerbic guy. Love it. Then when I looked him up and I was like, he was on Evening Shade. What?
He was on Twin Peaks. Oh, he was in the new Twin Peaks.
Oh, well, he
Special
was.
agent.
He was. I don't remember. But there's so many people on that show.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff. He was on Mindy Project. Anyway, I guess this is what it's like to live in Arkansas. What did you want to say about Ossie Davis?
Oh, I mean, that character name is just so odd to me. Ponder Blue. Like, it's just like,
I did not get that was his name.
That is his character's name. I don't know. Like, he owns this like barbecue restaurant. And that is like a big part of the show too. It's like a big setting. And he just is like very wise, and it just like it almost feels like he's like the stage manager for our town almost. He's like what makes the show seem a little bit like a play, you know, like all-knowing narrator character named Ponder Blue. You know, it's just like not a real name. Not a real name. It seems a little magical in a way. I don't know.
Yeah, he didn't really have that much to do in the 2 episodes I saw.
But he has a real gravitas. I mean, like, Ossie Davis is a great actor. They really like packed this show with like great actors, which I think maybe that was like part of what Burt Reynolds was doing. He was just like packing the cast with great people, and he could just step back and just be part of it, and he wouldn't have to do much because he could just trust that everyone else was taking care of it, you know?
I think that the producers were trying to get Burt Reynolds on TV forever, and then finally he was like, fine.
I don't know. I mean, it's weird because you sent me the IMDb link for the spin-off pilot that didn't get picked up that was written and directed by Burt Reynolds.
Marlene and Marlon and Harleen, or
right. So that was like Charles Durning and his wife. Charles Durning's the doctor who failed at tying a knot in Burt Reynolds's wiener, you know. Yeah, exactly. And his like really over the top wife. They call their house Tara, you know. So it's like we're in the South, you know. But I mean, so it like seems like he was like very actively involved in all of this stuff. I don't think he was just coming in for a paycheck. Like they were begging him to be on it, and he was like, oh, okay. It does seem like he cared.
Did he win an Emmy?
Yeah. The show was like pretty well received. The Wikipedia page goes out of its way to tell you that it had a higher Nielsen rating than The Cosby Show at one point. So see, what a brag, you know? But then it like ended after 4 years. And Mary Lou Henner, I guess, said that it was because it cost so much. There was just like so many stars on the show that it was too expensive to like keep going. But then also, you know, there was speculation that it ended because Lonnie Anderson like comes back into play. Burt Reynolds, his marriage to Lonnie Anderson ended during the run of this show, and the press on that was absurd. I mean, do you remember this when they broke up? It was such big news.
I remember them as a couple, but I don't remember why they were important or what happened to the breakup or
Burt and Lonnie. No, it was like a huge deal. Like, you know, Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston breaking up. It was Lonnie. What? They broke up?
Past love life was more interesting. Like that he was with Sally Field for a long time and Dinah Shore for a long time.
Yeah, he said that like Sally Field is the love of his life. He said that later in his life. But yeah, I guess he left Lonnie Anderson because he fell in love with a cocktail waitress.
And then he got a lot of bankruptcy and financial troubles and stuff.
Yeah, but then, you know, I mean, he had a really great comeback with Boogie Nights. So, I mean, he's excellent.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember when I was in college, there were all these flyers spread out all over campus, posted up everywhere, saying, special guest speaker, Burt Reynolds. Burt Reynolds is coming to campus to talk to the students. And I saw it, and I was like, oh my God, that is going to be great. I'm going to go to that. And then it turned out to be an April Fool's joke. And I was like, no! And that is why I hate April Fools. I hate that day. You just get my hopes up. I wanted to see Burt Reynolds. A good April Fool's joke, you go with something a little absurd, but just credible enough. Yeah. And that'll trick people. And so I guess they did a good job in that way, but still to this day, I wish it was real. I still think about it. Like, what if Burt Reynolds came to campus and I heard him talk? I would go.
Oh man.
I'm still sad about it.
What's the most 90s?
The most 90s, I think, was probably, so Burt Reynolds loves playing, his favorite song is Blueberry Hill, and he plays it every night on the jukebox at Ponder Blues barbecue restaurant. And then I think at the end of the first episode, he goes to play his favorite song and the jukebox is different. And so he's like, Milli Vanilli, nasties I wanna be, me so horny, what is this?
Milli Vanilli is pretty 90s.
It's pretty 90s. So it's just like,
this is 1990. This is like right.
I know, it's right there. But it truly does feel like boomers criticizing millennials, you know, like this is like the proto version of that, where it's like, they've ruined everything. These young people, they don't know what's good, you know? I
was going to say the most 90s thing is the outfit that Ponder Blues nephew is wearing.
I wrote that down too. Black Garth Brooks.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. He's wearing a cowboy hat and then the color block button-up shirt. So it's like half black and half purple.
Yeah. Oh, it's perfection.
There were a couple of like a little off-color jokes or things that would be off-color now, like where he says, you know what the problem is with your football team? You don't have enough black guys on it.
Right. Yeah. There were a couple. I wrote them down because, like, yeah, in the second episode, I think it's Frida who says, is it true what they say about all black men? Yeah. Ozzie Davis is just like, yes. Really weird.
And I could not think of any Mad magazines for this.
Oh, I have several options for you. Oh, I also just wanted to say, this is back to housekeeping, but Erin thought of a really good Mad magazine for Caroline in the City. Just wanted to give it its due. Carol Wines in the City.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so good. I was like, oh, perfect. Just edit it in. I'll just like, you know, I'll just like take this audio and put it back in the episode. No. So I have Uneven Shade. And then this one is just Everyone's Paid. That's a reference.
Making grade?
Yeah, it's Making the Grade. And then I cheated and like looked at, I was like, Mad Magazine must have done this show. Like, it just seems like exactly what Mad Magazine would do, because they loved to do a parody of a show that kids wouldn't be watching. Mm-hmm. So the actual one was Evening Shame.
Shame.
The shame. I know. Sometimes you're just like, wow, that was sitting right in front of my face.
That's why they get paid the big bucks.
I know, the Mad Magazine bucks.
Well, I guess we can move on to what you're watching.
Yeah.
Wait, well, what do we think of Evening Shade? Was it funny? Do you recommend?
I don't know if I would recommend, actually. I thought it was...
It's all on YouTube.
Yeah, it's all on YouTube. And so you can watch it and judge for yourself. I thought it was nice. I didn't particularly think it was super entertaining. The actors are really good and it's just very slow. And I feel like I was watching the show and feeling like there were opportunities for jokes that they just didn't take, you know? It could have been like a lot funnier. Also, this might be rude, but like, I could not understand that the littlest kid in the cast.
Yeah. No.
They gave him a lot of lines. I think he was like...
His voice is really annoying.
Right. Right. He's like maybe 5 or 6, and they gave him a lot of lines, and I could not understand him. So that really affected my enjoyment of the show. It was nice, but like, I don't think I would...
Not as good as Caroline in the City.
That's absolutely true. Wow. What did you think, Rachel?
Yeah, I mean, same. I was listening to the recording of Carolina City where I said I would like to go watch some more. And I was like, I'm not going to watch more. Why would I say that? Like, I'm not going to watch. Like, I don't think I even finished the Thanksgiving episode.
I did watch one more after our episode. I watched that Lolita episode, or where she dresses up like Lolita.
It might be that it's not that fun to watch really fuzzy shows on YouTube.
That's part of it. You really have to like really, really want to watch something if you're watching it so low quality.
I think that in my 20s, I rewatched compulsively or repeatedly a lot of the movies and shows that I liked as a child.
Sure.
And I've always thought, oh, I'm going to really enjoy. I think I've said this in the podcast before. Like, I always thought I would continue to watch them and I would enjoy them with my children. But at a certain point, they became stale and like old fashioned even to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like that's the way I feel about a lot of these sitcoms. Like Seinfeld is an outlier because its formatting is so different from other shows, but the traditional format of a sitcom is just hard to watch.
It's true. I mean, it's very formulaic.
It's 30 Rock too. Like, everything's now 30 Rock style.
Or like The Good Place or something. You're like, you're waiting. We're in this like postmodern era where like there's a twist. Maybe it seems at first like it's like a standard sitcom, but like it blows wide open, at the end of the pilot. And then you're like, wow. But I also think that's why those shows don't last that long. Because
there was a show that you and I both really liked that got canceled, Up All Night.
That's right. I love that show.
And that was kind of a traditional sitcom, but not multicam. I'm trying to figure out what I like or don't like about this era of TV.
It's slower. And like the style of comedy is a little bit, it seems stale. I mean, like,
and I don't like watching things on a stage in a studio.
Right. We like something like Happy Endings, where it's just the jokes don't stop on that show. This show, they were taking their time. It was like a Southern drawl. Like, it was stagey. It felt like a play that was well produced, but still felt like a play. So, By the way, I just wanted to bring up that I feel like I need a source for this, but according to the IMDb trivia page, the setting and title of Evening Shade was suggested by Hillary Clinton.
They called her up to see what she thought.
Yeah, like, so you're from Arkansas. You're married to the governor of Arkansas. What do you think?
Her idea was Evening Shame, and they
That's
said,
right.
How about Evening Shade?
Or like they misheard her, and they're like, okay, in a town called Evening Shade. It feels like Evening Shame would be the title of an article about Bill Clinton.
Ooh.
Political commentary.
Burn. Oh my God. So for the first time ever in Sliders and Wing history, we're both watching the same thing.
We are.
Not a coincidence. We planned it.
Because it's a show that appeals directly both to us. It's just like, this is in our wheelhouse.
Yes. Mare of Easttown on HBO Max. We agreed to watch it. I started watching it and then realized a few minutes into it, oh, this is set near Philly. Paused it, went to Greg and said, we have to watch this show together for the Delco accent. So we had to start over again.
Yeah.
It's 15 minutes. You get to hear Kate Winslet say water.
Yeah. And you get to hear her say overdose. That was the moment. Cause like, I was really, I started the show kind of like on the edge of my seat, staring at the screen, really trying to listen, because I was like, I had heard they spent a lot of time working on the Delco accent because it's
Chester County, actually.
Right. The creator of the show said it's like an amalgam, so it's not exactly East. So I was like, oh yeah, you said you spent a lot of time on this? Well, I'll be the judge. So like, I felt like the first scene, it didn't kick in until she said overdose, and then I was like, okay, there it is. Like, she kind of hit that. Oh,
we're here.
Yeah, we're here. We're right in there. And like, she hit the O a little hard. It like felt like, oh, she had worked on the O's like a lot for this, and she did a pretty good job.
So fucking strange about watching Kate Winslet, a British Oscar winner, and Guy Pearce, an Australian superstar, sitting in a bar pretending they're in Coatesville. I mean, and I know the reverse happens all the time where you have like Leonardo DiCaprio, whoever, pretending they're in some small mining town in England, but it is just so strange. And
It's so funny. Yeah.
then the girl that plays her daughter is also Australian.
She is? Oh, wow. Yeah. She had a great haircut.
Yes.
I loved everything about her. I was like, this girl is cool. She's got a cool, like, shaved part of her head. She's wearing like a cool outfit.
She's a lesbian, or
oh my.
So they're actually releasing the show, like, I guess weekly. So we're not able to binge it. So
right.
I don't know what I'm gonna do for the next 6 days, but
I know, because I really liked it. I was like, I'm in. I'm gonna watch more of these. I'm gonna watch the rest of this for sure.
I mean, I thought I like Kate Winslet. I'm sure that there'll be more to it, but the first episode was like, oh God, this woman, give me like, she's so negative and downtrodden and whiny and rude to everyone. You're like, I get it.
That's true. But she's
no glimmer of hope in your life. I get it.
She's having a bad day. I mean, her ex-husband has
Sam's fiance from The Office.
Right. And
I looked it up and I was like, there's no way that this guy is the same age as Kate Winslet. He's 2 years older.
Are you kidding? No way.
He's 45 and he's 47.
No. He looks so much younger than her.
He looks very baby-faced, yeah.
Yeah, he's like a very...
like Jean Triplehorn plays her mom.
No, that's Jean Smart.
Yeah, sorry, Jean Smart. Wrong Jean.
Jean Smart.
Greg and I very much enjoyed seeing Jean Smart in the Watchmen series, the latest one. And, you know, her character was in love with Dr. Manhattan, and she has this special blue dildo that reminds her of him.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Where she's holding this jug.
I didn't watch the show, but I saw screen caps of that scene.
I just cannot see. Every time I see Jean Smart, I just imagine her holding a giant blue dildo.
Speaking of designing women, by the way, she was on Designing Women.
Right.
I've loved her forever. I remember her. She had a recurring role on Frasier for a while. She was like the girlfriend that it seems like Frasier's going to end up with. Yeah. Like right at the end.
So Mare of Easttown is about a detective who's played by Kate Winslet, whose name is Mare, which is short for Meredith, I guess, because what else? You heard that as a name. And I think the name is really horrible. Mare of Easttown.
I think it's awful.
Easttown. I don't know why.
I think it sounds almost like it's a Robin Hood kind of thing. Like Robin of Locksley. Mare of Easttown does not sown like anything.
Call it Deep River in the woods, body by the creek. Solving a murder.
Down the shore. I don't know. I call it Easttown, just Easttown. I don't need Mare of Easttown. One of the funniest things about it was just like she's on the cover of the paper that day because they're like revisiting the greatest sports moment in the history of this town from 25 years ago when the girls basketball team won a championship and she was on the championship team.
And she made some great shot.
And
people really remember those things for that long.
I would think in Easttown they would, even if it's small. I don't think so.
So she's basically a girl ends up dead. A young that actress is only 23, but she looks.
Oh, she looked like she was 14.
She was in Devs, which is on Hulu. You should watch.
Oh, I want to. That's on my list.
She ends up dead at the end of the episode. Anyway, I'm assuming that it's a hunt for that person who did it. But then there's this other girl that was missing a year. Maybe it's related. We don't know.
Did you also, I was like, oh no, is Guy Pearce the guy who's doing it? That is exactly what I thought.
That didn't occur to me.
Yeah.
The young woman that ends up dying, she's just she's a single mom in the sense that she's not with the dad. And she's really young and the dad's really young and the dad has a new girlfriend. And she has to hand number one, as a mom, there's a scene in the beginning where she's talking to the baby and the baby feet away from her, just sitting quietly. And
I love you so much.
It's the most unrealistic scene of the whole movie.
She's like,
oh God, I never thought this would be so great. I'm going to miss you so much when you're gone.
Well, they start it out. It's kind of clever in the way that they start it out without the baby on the screen. So it sounds like she's almost talking to a lover.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I never knew I would love someone this much. And then they cut to this like giggling baby. And you're like, oh, okay. I got it, I guess.
But like this girl's life just sucks. She's living with her dad, and her dad is just really rude and unhappy, and like does not want to help her with the baby. And
he doesn't know to wait for mac and cheese out of the microwave to cool off, and he blames her.
So this girl's life just really sucks, and she has a baby and has no life and no car or anything. And then on top of all of that, her ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend basically just verbally abuses her and calls her horrible names, and then catfishes her and does these horrible things to her,
and then beats the shit out of her. Like they jump her.
This stuff makes me so upset because I know there's just millions of people out there who have lives exactly like that. And
yes. And I felt like that whole sequence, which just felt very credible to me, which is sad, which is very sad that I was like, oh yeah, this teen mom has this like trashy Delco shit for brains boyfriend, and his new girlfriend sucks so hard and like has taken it upon it herself to catfish this girl just so that they can set it up so they can beat her up. Like the idea that the plotting of that just seems very realistic is so sad to me.
What makes me most upset about it is that people like this can't think, because they've had no happiness or joy or compassion in their lives, cannot think 3 steps ahead. Like, if you hurt this girl or something happens to her, you're taking care of the baby, dipshit.
Right.
Like, the boyfriend is sitting there watching his girlfriend beat up his ex-girlfriend. I'm like, do you want to watch the baby every day? Stop beating her up. What are you thinking?
The idea that he was even there for the jumping is crazy to me.
I'm looking forward to just getting into mystery solving and not into
the sad domestic-ness of Easttown, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. But maybe we shouldn't spoil every episode of Mare of Easttown.
I mean,
should we go back and watch all of Happy Endings while we're waiting for Mare of Easttown to be?
Maybe. Oh my God. Like, I need something to pick me up, truly.
I know. I mean, like, name another comedy.
I mean, I'm still watching WKRP.
Oh, okay. You can name another.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny to watch Evening Shade while I'm also watching WKRP. It's like, oh wow, Lonnie Anderson, much more talented in the comedy department. She's got such great delivery, and she's just very funny. And she doesn't have to. The character of Jennifer Marlowe in WKRP it's basically a lot of them objectifying her and her sort of rebuffing people, which should get old, but she like sort of like holds her own and is funnier in her own right. So it really works.
Google a photo of Burt Reynolds without his mustache. You try to go to sleep without thinking about it.
Oh my God. I don't think I've ever seen one. No mustache. Ah, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. He looks very weird. Some people just need it. I mean, Tom Selleck, he needs that mustache. Some people just have so much real estate up there.
Yeah, they both look, some guys just have, this is a Reddit page. Some guys just have to have mustaches. Tom Selleck and Burt Reynolds.
I think those are the two main guys. The two main guys cannot be.
I was thinking that Greg might need to like spruce something up so I can feel like I'm with someone new, and he should shave his mustache. Now I'm rethinking it.
No, I don't think you should do it. Oh no. Yeah, did I ever tell you the story about how my dad, so when I was a kid, he had like a full beard. And then I think I was like 5 and my older brother was 6, and we were at breakfast and he comes downstairs and he has shaved his entire face. It's like no beard, no mustache, no nothing. And he was like, what do you guys think? And my brother and I cried. Because we didn't know, we were like, it was so shocking to us. We didn't know that was a thing you could do. That was his face that we knew.
And I have an exact same story. My dad did that, and my sister wouldn't go near him and said, not my daddy.
It's so weird. I mean, you're just a little kid. You haven't had that many experiences. So you're just like, it really rattles you.
All right. Well, we'll meet again next week.
On a podcast called Sliders and Wings.
Y'all get back on home now.
You can email us at slidersandwings@gmail.com.
That was great. It was a great Ossie Davis impression. All right. Good night.
Good night, Rachel. See you next week.